wind gauge stood on the porch just outside. The contraption wasn't much, a small pink bucket filled with gravel and sand, and a wooden dowel rising from its innards. 2 strips of cardboard a foot long and an inch wide had been tacked to the top, forming an X. Fastened to each end was a plastic cup, 3 blue and 1 red. Another of Miss Howard's endless classroom projects, this one much more beneficial than the ornament. Aside from needing the cardboard strips and a few of the cups replaced during the past months, the gauge had held up like a marvel of engineering. Allie watched the cups turn in the building wind. She counted the next minute aloud as her fingers tallied how many times the red cup passed. 10. 10 ain't much, is it, Samwise? Sam didn't know. Nope, 10 ain't much more'n a puff. It would be a little while before school and work ended. For the moment, the smattering of ranches and Cape Cods along the street stood quiet. All of them bore signs of the season: candles in the windows, bulbs on the trees, lighted icicles hanging from the gutters. Pretty enough, Allie thought, but nothing more than the same old. Still, the neighborhood had turned itself into a veritable winter wonderland compared to the Granderson house. The only sign of Christmas there was the leaning pine Allie's father had brought home the week before and plunked down in front of the living room window. The 2 of them had decorated it in silence. Only Sam had commented on the finished product. It was a horrible thing for Allie to endure, having to put all those memories on the tree. That her daddy had to endure it as well only made Allie feel worse. She kept waiting for him to say maybe they should just skip Christmas again, like the town had the year before. But Marshall Granderson had only sat in front of a pile of knotted lights and tinsel, drowning in all that quiet. There in front of the window, Allie considered for the first time that maybe her daddy had been thinking that very same thing. He'd just been wanting Allie to suggest it first, to say that maybe treating Christmas like any other day would make it not hurt so bad. The only evidence of peace on earth and goodwill to men outside was the Nativity in the front yard. Marshall had hauled the Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus out of the shed the previous Christmas, just before the mayor had announced that everyone's heart was still too heavy for joy. Allie had refused to let him box them up ever since. Her father had bucked about the Nativity still being out there when the new year arrived, and the season of the not Christmas was over. He hollered about it again when the grass turned from brown to green, and the church folk went from singing about Jesus being born in a cave to him walking out of one. But Allie had held fast. The Nativity was going to stay put. The last time Marshall had protested, this the summer just past, right at the time of the first anniversary, Allie told him it wasn't right for a family to be boxed up and separated from each other 11 months of the year. Her father hadn't said much after that. Sam snorted in her face, wanting to trade melancholy for playtime. No, Sam, you just sit. He did, settling on his haunches beside her. They both stared out at the plastic Mary. Allie felt Sam's tail thump her side. She rubbed his neck, making one of his back paws jitter. She smiled despite herself and said, You're a stupid dog, and I don't love you at all. There came a knock at the door, followed by a tired voice. Allie, can I come in? Sure, Daddy. The bedroom door eased open. For a brief moment, Allie thought Marshall Granderson had just woken from a long nap. The front of his work shirt hung free of a waist that had withered to the point where he'd had to poke new holes in his belt. His beard had turned more gray than brown in the past year, but Allie thought her daddy still held the handsome look of a brave man trying to shoulder the burdens upon him. He looked from a pair of red eyes at the picture on her dresser and made his way to the bed. He sat between Allie and Sam and put a hand to her forehead. 2 lifesavers clicked in his mouth. Don't think you got the fever. You feeling better? Some. Allie tried not to curl her nose at the smell. It was like something had crawled down her daddy's throat and died eating an orange and a cherry. Stomach settling a bit. It was Salisbury steak day. Marshall cringed. I recall those days myself. Sorry you had to leave work and come get me.